Welcome gamers, Hazardor here, and 2015 is coming to an end, so I'd just like to give you my personal opinion of the best games that came out in 2015. Now let's get straight into this. Coming at number 3 is Bloodborne. Now I was very surprised at how good this game actually was. I'd never played a Dark Souls game before this, so I was quite wary whether I should actually buy this game or not. If you're not used to Dark Souls or any of the combat mechanics, I've heard from many people that it might be quite hard to get into this game. It's very punishing. I died again and again and again, but I kept trying, gave this game a chance and didn't give up on the first hurdle. Bloodborne set me out on a massive adventure, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I'd call it more of a nightmare, with all the blood, gore, the horrifying enemies, and the brutal ways you get killed by bosses and the normal enemies you see just in the world. The world itself is just so interesting. You can find hidden weapons, hidden armor, loads of little items on the floor scattered about. There's just so much to do. It's not linear at all. This game doesn't hold your hand whatsoever. You just get thrown into it and you have to do your own thing, which I was actually quite fine with doing. The graphics are decent, but they're not absolutely outstanding. They're not like the game with the best graphics or anything, but you play Bloodborne for its gameplay, and its gameplay is just out of this world. There's a lot of variety to the gameplay, and there's a lot of different enemies you can fight. There's not sort of 2 or 3 different types of enemies which you come against. You come up against loads and loads of different ones, and you have to get used to their hitting patterns all the time because they play so differently from each other, and every time you go into a new environment, it'll take you a while to get used to what type of enemies there are, what their hit patterns are, what their health is, so you won't be fighting the same enemies again and again. I love the dark theme about this game. There's so many different weapons to use, and the DLC that came out recently, the Old Hunters, just as good as the full game. It's the same old thing, different enemies, different weapons. It's a blast to play. If you've liked Bloodborne, you'll love the DLC, but the game is very punishing, and I think that's why a lot of people won't like this game, because you can't sort of hop onto it, you know, pass a few levels or something like that, kill a few bosses, and then go back on another game. This game requires commitment. It's almost like a relationship. You'll have to take a boss on 10, 20, maybe even 30 times, depending on how bad or how good you are at the game. It takes you a lot of time to defeat certain bosses, and sometimes you get really frustrated, but the moment you actually kill this boss, it is so satisfying. When you defeat a boss that you've been trying for about 10 or 20 times, or even more, when you take out that boss, it is the most satisfying thing you can get in this game. The story is actually really good, but it's actually quite hidden in games. There are a lot of items you pick up, which you have to read thoroughly 1 or 2 times to actually understand what it's on about. Me, myself, I've had to watch quite a few videos online explain the story to me, what's going on, because I missed quite a lot of things. And I think Bloodborne could have made that probably a bit more obvious, what was going on in the game, why are there beasts everywhere, why are there hunters, who are the hunters, that sort of stuff. They could have made that a bit obvious and maybe explained that a bit better. Another bad thing about this game, well, it's not really bad, but it's just very difficult, and I think for casual gamers, it's going to be very hard for them to get into this game, and people who don't play video games on a regular basis will probably get bored of this game after a while and not complete it. Now coming at number 2 is Fallout 4. Now this game's open world is just massive. There's so much to do, so much to explore, different enemies to find, different weapons to find, build your base here, build your base there. There's so much to do on this world that it just doesn't get boring at all. Second, third, maybe even a 4th playthrough will be necessary to build different characters, to take different options in the gameplay and the story modes to make different paths, if you know what I mean. Not only is the world massive, it's very interesting. A lot of environments are very different from each other. For example, compare the glowing sea to the city or to the wastelands or inside a vault. There are very different things to do, different people to meet, different enemies to find, and I think that is why people really want to explore every nook and cranny of this world. There's loads to do and you'll never get bored or lack content for this game. The gun customization is very in-depth, and you can build your own gun to your perfect gameplay style, and I really like that about this game. When you pick up a weapon, you're not restricted to sort of using one thing. You can put loads of attachments on it, sights, muzzles, silencers, grips, all this sort of stuff that makes your guns very distinct from each other, and it really does make the weapons feel like once you've finished customizing a weapon, for example, it'll probably feel and shoot completely differently from what it used to be before you actually added these attachments to it, and I really love this about the game. There's a massive weapon variety, and one of the best things about this game, in my opinion, is the perk tree. Every time I level up, I sit there for about a couple of minutes actually wondering, what do I want to spend this perk on? What sort of paths do I want my character to take? Do I want him to get stronger, more intelligent, more persuasive? There's so many options to think about that it just takes you a while to think, what do I want to do with this skill point? And I think that makes the game a hell of a lot better, and even as soon as you got a skill point you just spent it on anything, that would make the perk tree or the leveling up system unsuccessful in my eyes. There are loads of different interesting characters, NPCs, and also the the Institute, the Railroad, the Minutemen, and the Brotherhood of Steel, they've all got their specific little things that they want to do and what their opinion is on how to save humanity, and it really did take me a while to think of which side am I actually going to take. What do I actually want? If this was a real life situation, for example, what would I pick? The gameplay is incredible, and every time you find new loot, you get really excited and you want to level it up or just put it on your character straight away and go and explore the wasteland. The reason this game didn't get number 1 is simply because I didn't enjoy it as much as I loved my number 1 spot on this list. Also, the frame rate was kind of bad on consoles. There was a sort of lack of an RPG element to this game as well, and the characters in Fallout 4 just don't compare to the ones in my number 1 spot. The graphics aren't as good either, and the settlement building sort of feels like tacked on. I was quite excited by the settlement building. It was almost like a Minecraft element in Fallout, which seems pretty crazy, and it really excited me. But once I started using it and I built a few bases, it seems kind of boring. It wasn't adding really anything into the story or the gameplay. But anyway, Fallout 4 is still an amazing game, and that's why it got number 2 on this list. Now, coming in as my favorite game of 2015 is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Now, I went into this game, I didn't really know what to expect. I'd never played a Witcher game before, and if you want me to be completely honest, I'd never even heard of the Witcher series. I only started getting interested in this game once I saw a few trailers, a lot of gameplay, and a lot of people speaking about this game like it was going to be Game of the Year. As I said before, I haven't played any of the Witcher games before this, so I didn't really understand a few things in the story mode, but CD Projekt Red did sort of refresh things back from the previous games, so I sort of got an idea of what was happening. Geralt, Yennefer, Ciri, Triss, there are so many characters in this game which are memorable, and I'll remember them for a long time, and a lot of these characters are some of the best ones and most memorable ones in gaming I've ever played with. Now, forget about the main story for a moment. The main story is unbelievable, but the side quests are just as good. They're very different from each other. There's loads of things to do. There are Witcher contracts, there are treasure hunts. There's a lot of reasons to just go out on the open world, forget about all the quests, all the objectives, all that stuff like that, and just explore the open world, find loot, come up against high level enemies, see different characters by yourself, and there's just so much to explore. I honestly thought that this game's open world was a lot better than that of Fallout 4. That's why it became, and it is, the number 1 spot on this list for my best game of 2015. The graphics on The Witcher 3 are unbelievable and much better than in Fallout 4. On Fallout, it seems a bit dark, you know, a little bit depressing. I guess that does fit the theme because it is a nuclear apocalypse, you know, the world's just been nuked, but still, Witcher 3's graphics, if you compare them side by side, you know what I mean. The open world itself's got different environments, from the massive city of Novigrad to the wastelands of Velen and the islands of Skellige. They're very different from each other. Enemies are different as well, just like I mentioned on my third on this list, Bloodborne. The enemies are different in each environment, and it's just so good. You really do have to explore the whole open world to get its full potential and really realize how this game is unbelievable. There are also many little things in this game that I liked. Gwen, it was a little side game. If you haven't played this game, it's sort of a little card game which you can play in game against different characters, and that was sort of the thing that took me away from the main quest, and it made me enjoy The Witcher still. I was still playing The Witcher. It was sort of like a game within a game, and that is something that I really liked. The DLC was unbelievable. There's a new one coming up, and I'm sure that's just going to be as good as the other ones. The weapons, the swords, the armor, everything about this game is just incredible. If you haven't played it, play it. I'd really recommend this game. The fact that I've played through this game twice already, and I'm on my 3rd playthrough, just tells you how addicting this game is and how much of a standout it is from games that have came out this year. In my opinion, Witcher 3 beat Fallout 4 for Game of the Year quite comfortably. Even though Fallout's an amazing game, Witcher 3 is on another level. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section of what your favourite game was this year. But anyway guys, thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe for more.